I'm a police officer in the United States of America, and I've been a patrol officer for just under 10 years. Everything that I tell you on this channel is based on my own personal experiences. Now, what I'm about to tell you are 2 dreams that are reoccurring that I have at least 2 to 3 times a week. Now, every profession has its nightmares and its dreams. You could be going to school in college and continually have a nightmare of failing a test or walking to school without pants on. Similarly, police have dreams much like the military. It's called the 1,000-pound pool dream. Now, I have 2 reoccurring dreams, like I said. The first one involves an officer-involved shooting. The second one involves a death investigation. The first one that I constantly have, I'm on the side of a Best Buy, and it's always on the same side of a Best Buy. At the south end of the city, there's a Best Buy that's attached to a mall. Now, this mall is a very popular mall in the area, and it has several hundred stores in it, and a Best Buy caps the end of the mall on the east side. There's a main road, not a highway, but a highly trafficked road that runs just alongside the Best Buy further on the east side. Now, in this dream, I am going on scene to a suspicious vehicle. I'm doing a field interview where I get out, I see what they're doing. It's in the middle of the night, which is strange because I don't work in the middle of the night, but in this dream, it's about 2-3 o'clock in the morning. And I remember the roads are wet because I could see the reflection of all the street lights in the parking lot. It was a shine from below and a shine from above. Now, I'm getting out of my patrol car and I'm walking up to this suspicious vehicle. It's like a Nissan Pathfinder, like an older style SUV, not large like an Expedition, but not small. So I contact the driver, and I remember a vehicle flying down this main road, and it turns into the parking lot, and it gets behind me. Now, I'm trapped in this situation. There's a person in front of me with a gun, the driver, who has now pulled one out of his waistband. And that vehicle is now behind my patrol vehicle, leaving me vulnerable from the front and the back with no way to get around it. I remember drawing my gun and aiming it towards the driver, who has a gun now in his hand, and he's lifting it up in my direction. And it's like time slows down. And I remember this hand with this black gun slowly coming up, pointing in my direction. And I remember my gun in my hand. I could feel the weight. I could feel it as if in real life I was holding this gun, my patrol gun, and I'm pointing it at this driver who is trying to kill me. And I remember pulling the trigger, and it's just slop. There's nothing there. Now, some people say that you have a 1,000-pound trigger dream where the trigger's so hard you could never pull it. Well, mine is the opposite. It's almost like there's nothing there. Like if the gun is unloaded and you pull the trigger and it doesn't reset because it hasn't racked a new round into the chamber, so it's just slop. And I remember going through my functions and I'm doing everything I can to try to load the gun, and the trigger is just slop. And I remember the sound of a loud gunshot, and then I wake up. That is the dream I have the most. The most. Now, the second dream I have is a death investigation. Now, the strangest thing about this death investigation is the location that it occurs. Now, I remember showing up on scene, and it's at the side of a small creek, which we really don't have here. Now, we do have over 2 million bodies of water in this state. We do have very heavily flowing rivers, but not like a small creek with a small rocky bed. And I remember this because I thought it was so strange that I was doing a death investigation in another state, almost like in Missouri or Arizona or someplace, New Mexico, someplace where you have a rocky bed with a small creek, and then this vegetation around the creek that was not really flourishing but sort of dead. I remember walking over to this deceased female who's laying half in and half out of this creek. Now, she had been there for some time. The body was slightly bloated, and you could see that the skin was starting to slough off of the musculature. I don't know why I was there, and I don't remember the conversations that I had with the officers. I just remember walking over this deceased female and looking down at her face. And anybody who's seen anybody who's been deceased for any period of time, they have dead eyes. They're hazed over, almost like the worst cataracts you've ever seen. They're just lifeless. And I remember these lifeless eyes looking directly at me. And I remember the mouth opening up, and all of a sudden, millions of black flies shot up like a gusher into my face. Now, as the flies surrounded me, everything turned to black, and I woke up. Now, these are two dreams that I constantly have. Constantly, at least once a week for each one. Sometimes it ebbs and flows. Sometimes I have them multiple times a night or multiple times a week, and sometimes it's once a week or once every 8 or 9 days. But it's definitely more than I want. Now, what do you guys think? Do you guys have dreams like this? Leave a comment down below. I would really like to have some conversation if you are one of these people. Now, I just want to say thank you for subscribing to the channel. It really does help. It would be nice if you give me a thumbs up. I plan on releasing a video every week. So, see you in the next one.